Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome to another Thursday night. I was going to say paint and chill stream, but I haven't painted anything in like a month and a half, maybe more, because I've been working on the God Wars, and I know a couple of my friends want to talk about that tonight. They have some more questions, and it's, I guess, better to hear it from me as opposed to comb through the 150-page document that we've now compiled thanks to Justin fixing some things. And speaking of Justin, he's in the green room. He's technically here. That's him down there in black. I guess he's getting a burger delivered or probably a pizza, knowing him. And now we have Omen wanting to join.
Hey,
Welcome, Omen. Hey, bro. How you doing, man?
um, finally got a relatively clear bill of health on my knee, so no more physical therapy. So very good.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. A couple of our friends have been plagued with medical issues, and uh, every night I say a little prayer for each and every one of you schmoes. Apparently, the big guy's here and listening because I've been hearing a lot of good news. Hopefully, our friend Grim will be one of those guys that will come back, hang out with us from time to time. But he's kind of busy training dogs, so awesome. That's his like dream job. So gotta love that. So what's new, man?
Not too much. I need to start, getting ready for your game. When are we starting on the gut war?
Well, technically Monday was the first day. I'd like everybody to bare minimum have your stuff sent to me like Sunday before the D&D game ends, like Sunday 8 p.m. my time, so I can work on it till the wee hours. But I've already started implementing everything, and uh, for the most part, I've got most people's rough starts, but I need the 5 actions for this week because
Yeah.
it'll be Sunday, Monday. I will do a review, a report on this channel and on Justin's channel in the morning, telling you what you as your God characters know about what's happening in the world. And what that means is that anything that could be seen from like flying overhead, a satellite, uh, that kind of thing, in regards to buildings and happenings.
Yeah.
If you hire people and things like that, it really won't show up on the report. Armies and multitudes, unless you start, marshaling armies and leaving your cities and castles. Once that happens, those will be in the reports. But otherwise, it's just like if you build a city, a castle, a temple, something, a battle fleet, anything that can be seen uh, will be reported on.
Yes. Okay. Just want to make sure because I have an idea of what I want my actions to be, so I just have to do that.
And everybody gets one free hidden action, which can be anything. Building a building can be hidden.
Okay.
There's lots of buildings that we're just discovering now, built into mountains and things like that, or sending an army across the land. But as soon as you don't use a free hidden action on that, it will become visible. If you've got
So
an army in between you and your neighbor, suddenly it appears. It's going to be in the report.
so question for you is that one free action on top of the 5 or one of the 5 is
One of the 5.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
And you can get more by hiring spies.
Yeah.
And I don't know how a spy does that, but that's the mechanic.
Okay.
Somehow he advises them on how to remain hidden, if you will,
Yeah. Okay. No, that sounds good.
with a maximum of, I think, 4 or 5. I think there should be at least one action that cannot be hidden.
Right. Right.
But then if it's something like hiring troops, it's still a free hidden.
Yeah. 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 You're either spreading them out or something. Yeah. I know. I understand. I'll be doing that tonight. I'll be figuring stuff out, and I want to write some things up.
And when everybody else gets in here, I'm going to discuss a couple of things that have been a little misunderstood. So I wrote a little blurb in there to kind of explain it. That being with minions, heroes,
Okay.
generals,
Yep.
that sort of thing. Uh, it takes an action or point for each. Um, And people are going to ask, well, what good's a hero? Well, a hero can become any of the other upper echelon character types, and if you hold them, you can say, oh well, suddenly now I need a general, so you're a general. You know what I mean? Instead of like in the beginning, a lot of people are gonna just go the 3 steps, use 3 actions, and boom, boom, boom. I need a general. Boom, boom, boom. I need a priest.
Right. No, I mean that was one of the things I was talking about. Is you start off with a minion, and then you can upgrade them, and then either they're a priest or a hero or a,
And for the in the rule where you can't duplicate an action,
yeah.
it doesn't count because it's a completely different action. So you could, in your 5 actions, make a minion, make him a hero, make him a general, and that's 3 separate actions, and none of them are duplicates.
Yeah. Okay.
Which ensures that you can raise an army every turn.
Yes. Okay. Why I'm trying to download stuff and it's just not doing my thing.
Oh, now, George is glad to see you. Gen X is aging. Yes, we are. As long as we just age and not, the other thing, I'm happy. Especially since if there was a pool, I'd be next on the pool. If you know what I mean.
hey, we can do that for you. No, I'm just what we'll just.
It's not going to be a Tuesday. Hungar's got that day locked in, I think. Isn't that right, Justin?
Where's my downloads?
Justin's still not there. And I know George and Armstrong wanted to join. Raven's supposed to join us as well.
Okay.
Just get a slew of questions. And there's a couple of people who've yet to turn in anything. So I need to hit them up with another email.
Okay,
get them on the ball because, every week you miss.
Yes.
Is, especially in the beginning, once you see what everybody's kind of doing, you'll know, like when it comes to your neighbors. That was another question people were asking. What is influence for? And basically, for the most part, it's primarily going to be involved when you try to make an alliance, because there are roughly the same amount of NPC empires as there are player empires. And if you wish to make an alliance with them, if your influence is higher than theirs, you're good to go. Otherwise, you'll have to finagle that. If like, say you have an influence of 3, they have a 2, then it's a done deal. The alliance is solid.
So my question for you is, what format do you want? You want a Word? You want rich text format? Plain text? How do you want?
However you want to do it. I'm going to translate it into a notebook and then into a Google Docs later when I have more free time. But right now, everybody's doing it a little different. It would be great if it was a Google Doc, but if you can't do that, that's fine.
Well, I mean, I can do it in the. I just want to know the format you want it in. So if I can I'll do it. If you can access, I'll do it in the rich text format. You should be able to access that without any problems. So.
Okay.
But no, that way I can fill it in. What I'm really asking is so I can fill it in, so I can just give it to you. So
I'm sorry. What was the last part?
Just so I can fill it in, so I can give it to you. That's what the last part.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like I said, there's still a few people, and I did make like a Google Docs form that you can fill out, but you'll have to.
Well, I've downloaded it. It says, "How do you want to download it?" That's why I was asking. So,
okay.
Yes. So that's what I was
make
asking.
Sure, when you do it that it goes only to me, because otherwise people will see it, and I don't want that.
I know. I shouldn't be making 2 of them and then giving everyone the fake one.
No, that'll kind of defeat the purposes of winning. And I'm gonna have to come up with some sort of I think clearer cut definitions of winning.
At the end of the day, winning is that you had fun, and if you survive, that's great.
Yeah. Well, I was telling Raven, she's like, well, since there's so many NPCs, doesn't that give you the advantage? Well, one, I'm not trying to win. and I am rolling randomly for what the NPCs do to a point. There's a chart in there. I roll on that, but if it says build, then I build what's the most likely, obvious thing to build. You know, if
Yeah.
it, um, and that doesn't mean upgrade; it means build. And uh, from that point, it's they're not going to do stupid things like just constantly build things without filling them and that sort of thing.
Right. Right.
But and the other thing I was telling her is that the NPCs aren't really trying to win per se, unless they're evil. They're trying to survive the cataclysm that will come,
Yes.
which is one of the conditions of the God War. When something has happened that will cause a major worldwide catastrophe, which is a possibility, then I will tally up the points, so to speak, declare the winners, and everybody else is just trying to tread water.
I expect the top 3 survivors to be NPCs.
Wait a minute. Are you saying I'm an NPC? I think.
Yes.
Offense.
I've said that the whole time.
Okay. Well,
but I'm not counting you as one of those NPCs.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. No. I want one of you guys to win because it would look really bad if I gave myself 3 prizes.
Yeah, but this is you we're talking about.
I am above reproach on all things, especially all.
I'm still waiting for that book you said you would send me over a year ago.
I'm trying to think of something else to send with it.
I don't want anything else.
I know.
I want
you are getting an autograph.
A real human boy.
Yeah, I'll just have Jackie deliver it with an airline ticket, safety pin to his shirt, and $20. Wish him the best of luck.
This is
Thank you, Ron White, for that line. I use that all the time.
Hey, wait a minute.
He
that
couldn't
sounds...
go to McDonald's for $20.
Hey, that sounds like something I do to my friend.
So let me go check and see what's the holdup with our.
And I ain't feeding them. I don't got that kind of money.
Hey, you know what? I looked at how much my son was eating. Like, holy crap! Someone's going to have to get some work.
Yeah, that's when you print off the application from McDonald's, Wendy's, Home Depot. It's like, I expect these filled out in the next half hour, or you're grounded.
Oh, you're awfully nice,
Oh, you know my method of grounding a child, right?
I don't. I don't.
You've got a mill nearby. Oh, okay. I figured you're
getting the taser until you pass out. You're gonna still get it until you wake up. Or you go into cardiac arrest.
How that
works. Goes first.
Who we got there? Armstrong, welcome to the show, brother.
Armstrong.
Hey guys.
How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm good. Surviving.
Yep. Glad to hear it.
Yes.
Question for you, because it looks like there's 3 schools or something. So I guess you can cast any of the spells that are might, intellect, influence, mystic power, defense. If you have those
no,
spells.
actually, I clarified that. Let me go to it because I have that document open.
Did you actually open the Google Doc, Omanow? Are you still reading the raw text on the Discord?
I have. If you actually look at the Google Doc, I have a bunch of my own comments in there.
Yeah, he does.
Shush.
So obviously I read it, but he added stuff to it after I did my my comments in there.
Oh God, yeah, we're at 147 pages.
Yeah.
Well,
that yesterday 97. Did you add 50 pages today?
No.
It could be the format he has his screen on.
Yeah.
Where is it?
I was thinking it was going to be a game along the line of 1-page rules. Yeah.
It started off that way.
Yeah, like months ago.
Well, some of it's formatting too. You know, Shadow hasn't quite learned that you're supposed to put everything in 8 font on triple, on either 3 or 4 columns.
Well,
Small little.
it's hard to set up columns in Google Docs. You can
Yeah,
do
I
it,
know.
but it's annoying.
But no, my joke was that's how the old player's handbook and everything was written, and people
Yeah.
forget.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that under any
It's
circumstance.
there's a certain point where now I'm like, look, I like having the physical book, but I like PDF because I can blow it up large enough that I can read it without using a magnifying glass.
Yeah, we do want to get it down to like 70 pages though, with art.
Well, that's a formatting thing.
Shadow.
Well. First off,
100 pages. Okay.
I have 84 pages on mine. So.
Okay, here it goes. Here's how it works. Okay, gods can cast any spell from these schools: their alignment, their race, their spheres, their primary attribute, whichever attribute is the highest, and any of the 4 element spells.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but the second sphere is some shit you make up. So how are you going to get spells for that? Just make those
It
spells
depends.
up?
Well, because they usually correspond to one of the stats, if you've noticed, and if they don't, then we'll work on it.
Okay, so worry less about the name of the sphere than what the stat bonus you get for the sphere is.
In the context of this, but in the context of overall play, if you're the god of war, I expect you to be warlike.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to. You can just say that. You know?
I'm the god of demon summoning, so
yeah. Well, once you get your mystic power level up to 9 or 10, you can start doing that shit.
Yeah, well, I'll be doing that.
Okay.
My mystic level is up at that high, so
okay.
You know what god I'm playing, so
and prophets can cast any spell from their race, their alignment, their god or goddess's spheres, and 1 element.
Yeah.
Priests and high priests can cast from their god spheres or alignment or race. Wizards and archmages get the 5 attribute spells, elemental, and the race. And any other unit with a mystic power above 0 can only cast a racial spell.
Okay. Now that this was a question I had, when you create your prophet, it has to be either a priest or a wizard, right?
No. A prophet acts as a priest and a general.
Okay, so that's not what I got when I looked through it.
Okay, maybe I need to fix that, or you can fix it for me when you find it. But yeah, that way you can guarantee, afford an army and a multitude and a temple at the same time. Otherwise, it's going to eat up a lot of your initial points and actions, which I noticed for some people was like, oh, this sucks. Well, no, you can do that stuff later if you only have 1 army, 1 multitude, and 1 temple.
Yeah.
You're good.
Okay. And the multitude is just like your civilian draftees or whatever.
And hardcore worshippers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I would think religious fanatics.
Yeah.
The witch hunter's cult.
And the reason I put the last line, because many armies and multitudes if they have a mystic level of 1 or higher, they can cast a spell. It takes the whole unit to do it, but they can still do that.
Group
so when
prayer.
when you're going up against an army and it's elves or reptilians.
Art Bell tried to get me in on a group prayer once, and I was like, no.
Yeah. Elven and reptilian armies and multitudes start off with a 2. So they could be casting a spell while fighting, and there's some decent 1st and 2nd and 3rd level spells. And if you notice in the spell lists, there's actually 2 1st level spells, just to emphasize that point that these units may be casting a low level bless or something like that right off the bat.
Shout out. Do you know what you call a group of people that do group prayer a lot together?
Parishioners?
A coven. A coven.
Oh, okay. You could call them that, I suppose. What was the other thing?
Manal got it. I'm surprised. For a bot, he was very intuitive with that.
The other person, this one was from
He's running on ChatGPT 3.0 or whatever.
If you guys notice, if you
I thought
notice
that
on
two
the
of them
map,
running.
if you notice on the map, it's blank, except for
Yep.
the circles where empires start.
Yeah.
The create natural and unnatural barriers is where you guys get to design what the map looks like. Whether you want to put mountains, forests, rivers, all those things in one way or another will hinder movement. Otherwise, right now the planet is like flat land everywhere until you guys start making stuff pop
Terrible
up,
book. Terrible book.
and hopefully you'll use those things to your advantage. The only thing is that a natural barrier must occupy, or excuse me, must touch one of your other hexes. So, like, if you put down your place of power as your center, and then you put a castle or a city or something neighboring that, you can then stretch out your barriers, or you could literally put your place of power and ring it with mountains, because six hexes is what you get for the one action or point, and that will ring a hex with a ring of mountains, and you could literally build your entire empire underground, because there are dwarves and elves and other things that burrow into the ground, and we had to make accommodations for their weird asses living underground and shit. I don't know.
Oh, your face.
What is the map?
It's in the rules section. In the rules section of the God Wars Discord channel.
Yeah, he just put it up there. If you go,
And I will also, each player, I'm sending you a photograph of your immediate area with a wide enough angle so that you can see who your neighbors are, because that's kind of important.
Yeah, but just by like what their race is or whatever.
Touch.
Touch.
George.
Oh.
No, you can't have a multitude and an army in the same hex. But you can have, in a multitude or an army, you can have a priest, a general, a hero, a wizard, an assassin, and a spy, and kind of unlimited monsters.
Okay, so you have a channel called God Wars Map channel.
Oh, okay, yeah,
and you didn't put the map in that channel. I'm going to do it right now.
Of course I didn't. Of course I didn't.
I
put it.
image.
I put it in. I put it in the rules section because I was in the middle in the zone, and then I said, "Oh shit, I might as well just make a map channel." And then I didn't follow up. So
I just put it in there. So
thank you.
You goddamn slacker.
Justin, you are requiring, logic from Shadow.
Hey, John, how you doing? Long time no see. Are you going to have me on in May, man? I'm serious. If there's anybody who wants to talk about mixing genres, I'm that guy. As a matter of fact, I don't think I can play a game without mixing genres anymore.
Yeah, we know you like to mix genres.
I think it's because I own so many games that I literally want to cram as many into one play session as possible.
Yeah. The one thing you don't like mixing, though. Who wants to finish the sentence?
Is what?
The one thing you don't like mixing is the sexes.
Well, I'm okay with the first two. Everything after that.
No. You only like the one.
No. Okay, I have a question about this. Since it says the prophet character, they all start with
Whoa! I'm calling Shadow gay, man.
And it's a Thursday.
You don't understand that Shadow prefers traditional women.
With hair on their chests and balls between their legs?
No.
The women
he
without
likes
dick.
dwarven women. He wants that beard. That's why he keeps on bringing on. That's why everyone seems to have a beard in the game.
That's a clear racist versus dwarves. Yes. Dwarven women are beautiful with their beards.
Do you see this? Do you see this shit? This is why you haven't seen me in so long, because I'm dealing with these fart knockers.
I resemble that remark.
Okay, I have a couple questions here while we're talking about this. One is, Getting to your assassin. Once your assassin is used, he's pretty much gone forever. Am I reading that correctly?
You kind of there's very little chance that he's going to survive. Uh, they're kind of like guided missiles.
Okay,
Fire
so there's
forget.
that one. I assume that to get a spy, you have to get a minion and then upgrade him to a spy. I was looking at the prophet. The prophet says he's not allowed to have anything above, but then you give him 2, 2, 2, 2, which means that if they're not allowed to exceed your god, then that means that they would get lower. But then can they move that?
No, it means you need to spend a point in raising whatever that one stat is, or more. But I was thinking about that because it's gonna be problematic when you're dealing with some of the races that even the prophet is going to get like a +2, you know. So I may tweak that a little.
Okay, I was just double checking on that because I was like, well, if you can give them points, then let us shift the points around so they can at least match what the god has in some ways. So those are just things I'm looking at. But yeah, that's about it. So I was just curious on it.
Yeah. And Max, just let me know. I'll keep hounding you. I don't want you to have to bump somebody, but if it's like Connell or something, then I don't have a problem.
Yeah. Bump Connell until he does an hour on a treadmill. Just as principle.
I will never hear from him again. That's cruel and unusual punishment. Well,
I'm okay with that.
Well, that's like
Well,
making Justin not eat cake
treadmills
for
were
a
actually
week.
designed as a
I actually
treadmills
haven't
was
had
actually
cake in
designed
over
as
a
a
week.
torture.
one at a time, guys.
I actually haven't had cake in over a week. Damn you.
You've
I
ruined it for
remember
me.
the treadmills.
I've been coping with marshmallows.
Okay. And then you have
Just
the
remember, the treadmill is a torture device, nothing else.
Yeah.
Do you think I should bump that down to 1 for the prophets?
Well, I mean, if you're going to do this for a lot of them, for the heroes and stuff, but I think the prophet is you would have it should probably match your god's base stats before you add in everything else. So if you do like, a 1 in mystic and then like 3 in might, then your prophet would have 3 in might and 1 in mystic. For your first 10, so your prophet is kind of your avatars, the way I'm looking at it.
It absolutely is.
So that the base 10 is what the prophet should equal, and then when you get all of your race and everything else, that gets put on. Then that only goes to your god, but doesn't go to your prophet. So you know what I'm talking about, because your prophet already has 10 points, and your god has 10 points plus modified. That would be my suggestion for it.
That's a little high though for the prophets, though.
Well, that's what you have
only
literally
that
down here. Your prophet has a total of 10 points. Might 2, intellect 2, influence 2, mystic 2, defense 2.
Right.
That's the same as basically the gods have 10 points as well when they start off. So that's what I'm trying to say. Is just have it meet the equivalent of their god, and then they can't exceed what they're. After you add everything in, they can't exceed those points.
Take care, Max. It was good seeing you.
Yep. So, but yeah, that's what
let me think on it, because
Sure.
As I was making up the NPC rosters, I noticed that basically gods actually start out with about 15 points.
Right. Well, they do, but I'm saying that if you look
with
at
their
it,
bonuses.
Right. But if you don't include the bonuses, I would say that the prophet gets exactly the same stats that the god does without.
The only problem with that, Omen, is that armies and multitudes and other characters will get those bonuses, which makes them, or at least they get the race bonus. I know for certain. Maybe I won't give them the alignment bonus, but that puts them kind of on like less than some of the other units, and they need to be above, but they need to be below the gods. So it's got to be somewhere in the middle. I was thinking maybe I don't know. Let me think on that. And if you guys have any other ideas, because that was one of the things that I was noticing. Because I have, like, I don't know if you heard, Justin, but there's almost as many NPC factions as there are player characters, which is
That's okay.
which is intentional, because I want to make sure you can't figure out who's who, and that there's a chance that you will be fighting an NPC and or maybe making an alliance with an NPC, because that's what the influence rule is for. If you try to make an alliance and it's an NPC, if your influence is higher than theirs, then it's done. They just say yes. You don't
Yeah.
have to do anything weird.
Yeah. What about another player? Are they supposed to generally uh, do that as well? Like
No,
like
actually, when you make an alliance, you actually have to write up the agreement, like literally. Not. I don't mean like a freaking 18-page freaking Magna Carta style document, but something you can fit on a post-it note. Hey, want to be friends?
a
You know,
paragraph or two. Yeah.
well, to include what you will and will not do in times of strife. Whether you will help them, will you send troops to aid them? Will you just leave them alone? I leave you alone. You leave me alone. Uh, these are our new borders. Things like that.
Yeah.
Because I know that when you start making natural barriers, there's a chance that you'll be making those natural barriers into somebody else's territory, unless you
Mm.
unless you want plains and flatlands as your empire, which is feasible. There are races that may literally want nothing but flatlands, maybe a big mountainous range around their
They're
flatlands,
herding grasses.
something like that.
Yeah.
And you know, you guys will then send me the message, and then I will send it to them. And if they say yes, then you have an alliance, and you still won't know if it's a real person or not. But the
Hmm.
same thing will happen if I roll.
No, what I mean is like if I have if I have an influence of one, and Armstrong there has an influence of I don't know 8 or whatever, will I be able to like say no to his
Oh,
agreement?
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
And
that's
the
broken.
alliance.
Then that makes the stat almost useless against other
Yeah,
players.
I agree. The stat is basically useless when it comes to trying to convince your fellow players.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's where the
I think.
agreement comes into play, and that's also where the alignment comes into play. The alignment
Mhm.
precludes, prohibits, and otherwise, you know,
Yes, but like okay, he has a shitty influence, but I have a good one.
uh,
Can I use it on his troops to subvert them to my cause?
that's a different thing. That would be done with spies.
But
Well, no,
I
no.
should
The
be able
point
to
is
influence
what
them.
does
That's
influence
literally what the word
do?
means.
Yeah, what does influence do is the point. You're saying spies, but really that should be more of an influence to the old.
Yeah.
If you have
Now
Conan the Barbarian, when he keeps talking about the followers of
spies
Set
use
and how and
influence.
how he and how he takes over his daughter, that's more of an influence rather than a spy. Um,
Now it could be what George is saying in the chat there. I need to use a spy to contact that army, and then I have my influence stat go up against their influence stat. And if my influence stat is higher or lower, because I don't know what their stats are, right?
Yeah,
Until I make notes somewhere, my stat seems to be higher than theirs whenever I go against them. So
right. And
X, but
that's
so
where
I should be able to take like one spy up against like a massive army and go, you have an influence of 1, I have an influence of 10. It doesn't matter how many you have here. The majority of your army is like listening to the word of my God now. And maybe the rest get their throats slit in the night. You know, that one that out of 10 that didn't take the message. So now instead of having a say 10 stack army, I have a 9 stack army that I didn't pay for because I stole it from.
well, I would say this much: if you're really going to do that, then you'd have to say either is one of your characters has to contact the other one if you really want to. well, I don't know. You're gonna have to figure that out. But I thought influence would be allowing you to manipulate others, which means that if you went for the army, is you would have the ability to do other things with them. So I mean, yeah, don't. It shouldn't just be
well, right off the bat, it wouldn't go against the army. It'd go against the highest officer or minion in the army, which is going to be pretty significant to prevent some of that. And you got to get there. You've got to be in essentially base to base contact for any sort of action like that, which again makes it really difficult. And then the alignment thing, if certain alignments can't ally with other alignments, good and evil, law and chaos.
Yes, but maybe like you could show the ill of the ways of, like, you could, I don't know, turn a good army evil. You don't turn the god or the empire that way, but you break them away and you have them rebel or whatever. Obviously, you can't like have a spy go up against an air force, because how the fuck are they going to do that? But
right.
Well, I mean, the spy is really that they do the other stuff. But if you're trying to do like sabotage and things like that, but the influence should be, hey, guess what? Is you think you control your army, but if you have a high enough influence, you can cause it to do a slightly different action. Or it can go the wrong direction.
The only problem I see with that is because of like the god being hands on. He might say lightning bolt the spy.
When we're not
that takes up an action though.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm saying, but we're not talking about spy. We're talking about the influence stuff. The influence needs to have to be better defined.
I'm saying I have no problem with the spy being the tool you need to use to interact your influence on the table.
Let me think if there's a way
influence that.
If there's a way we can do that.
If I can now chime in about the influence, yes, and diplomacy in general. Yeah. So my way of looking at that influence stat was, let's just say that you are sending a diplomatic envoy, yes, to propose an alliance or trading pact or whatever you're gonna get included in that in the long run. Yes. If you have higher influence stat, if the person you are getting to the diplomacy in is wanting to break the negotiations or wants to have better hand in negotiations, they have to spend some sort of a resource. Yeah? Because basically you have upper hand on them with this. Yeah? So let's just say you have your influence of 7, I have influence of 2. But I have an army of 5 when you have army of 2. Yeah? So this balance each other because I have military might.
We're not talking about that. I think we're talking about two different things.
So this counts as well.
Yeah.
That creates influence because he has influence in the power of his diplomacy. Yeah? I have influence in the power of my army. So when you try to do negotiations, let's just say that you send like I said, diplomatic envoy to another god, yeah, and say, I want to sign a peace treaty with you, and you don't know what this god influence is. Who signed that treaty? Of course, you signed it. You write the treaty down, yeah. But to actually meet that agreement, to meet in the middle, you may need to spend some sort of resource.
Yeah, well, it takes an action to
how diplomacy works.
It takes an action to send an alliance offering. It also takes an action to sever an alliance.
Wow. There's a very easy action you do that. I move my armies into X player's capital and start rampaging. I guess our alliance is over.
Yeah.
Well, I
mean, if you want to, but like I said, also in the alliance, it's you need to state how long it's going to be because some alignments can only have temporary alliances.
Here's my suggestion: is if you're going to do an alliance, is you put in what you want to do, because you have to also make it look like an NPC as well. Yep. You say this is you put down bullet points of what you want. and what you will do for the alliance, and you submit that. That's it. But for influence, I would say that has more to do with other things, not on how much you influence the other player, but like setting up temples or causing their armies to get misdirected or something of that sort.
Do you want me to write up a standard alliance request and denial form?
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
that.
helpful as long as it states the duration, the requirements, what to do in times of war, who if you have a mutual, if you have an enemy or a mutual enemy or something like that, what to do about that, or hey, let's team up and go after so and so.
Yeah.
And split the land or things like that. What other things you might want?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the spies have stats for a reason, George, and all those because you can with every minion you can spend an action to bump up one of their stats by a point, and you can only do it one stat per minion per. Like this minion, you can bump up a stat. Another minion, you can bump up another stat, which doesn't count as a duplicate action. Whereas, like trying to create two armies or two temples, that's two of the identical actions.
Yeah,
So,
I saw that you put out that the the god character card that I created, but you didn't put out like the Empire one, the general character card, the army card.
didn't I thought it was
The
like maybe
holding
like
card.
page down or something.
No, the one I saw. Maybe I opened it wrong.
Maybe I did it wrong when I copied it.
Yeah. Anyone? What you created?
And as for the 10 starting Empire creation actions, how many can be secret? I don't know. Do you think like 2?
I don't know. I mean, if you're looking at, well, what happens if you get a couple of minions? Are those
That
secret?
doesn't. You don't see that.
Right.
The only things that are visible are the building of buildings, creating another place of power, creating any building, a war fleet, and movement outside of cities and castles. Like if you move a multitude out, a couple of hexes away from your land, that's visible. It's basically what a bird or a satellite could see. Flying above the empire, you could see like, oh, hey, they're building something. But when it comes to people, they're not going to see, armies being built or multitudes or characters being created because it's just too down, too small to see. Being able to pick out one character in a multitude, you're not going to see that. So, excuse me. But if you, for example, I guess I'm going to go with
you just assume that stuff's blurred out by their god to your site.
well, and all the other people's walking around.
Yeah.
Like Omen said, you can hide armies by having them not wear uniforms until it's time. And for the starting empire, I'm going to say 2. You can hide 2 actions. Like if you want to like hide 2 buildings or cities, but eventually they're going to be seen. Wouldn't you think? Because how do you keep them hidden after a certain point?
Well, you're trying to think of things as if they're like a satellite. My view on this is that's what spies are for, to find stuff out. So you
right.
send
That's
spies
exactly
out
what
to look for things. And really, that's what I'm trying to say is the spy is not doing the influence. The spy is going out trying to, maybe he can do that where he can misdirect stuff. But
that was the thing. Like you could have spies do is like deploy, like they could take on the role of a crier in some foreign town and start yelling,
distributing leaflets, pamphlets, things like that. Come join Osiris. We're offering this. Are you tired of such and such. Well, we don't do that over in our religion, kind of
Because
thing.
spy is the category. It's could also include like what do they fucking used to call them when they said missionaries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Demagogues.
Yeah. Well, no, missionaries would be, and see, to me, that's where you'd start using your priest. Your priest should be the one that's going to be the missionary, or your prophet. See, that's what I was thinking of. Is if you want to build things outside of your region, then you should be moving your prophet or your priest into those areas.
I'd say that with the priest, yes,
Prophet,
do that,
you don't
but the
want to risk
prophets,
the prophet.
like you don't send the Pope to some tribal
Exercise,
hut
yeah.
in Africa.
You got blackjack and
to
hookers.
hand out Bibles.
Yeah.
Well, he's not handing out Bibles at that point. He is. This is like Jesus Christ. Is what? But your prophet's like a Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He's moving around, doing that. He's not. And then he has his sub priest going out as well.
Yes, but that's like early in your faith before you've contacted like other God ruled
disciples,
right?
You let them do that stuff because you do not want to risk losing your prophet under any circumstances.
Yeah. Well, you can get another one, right?
Yes, you can, but
it takes like all 5 actions to your next turn or some stupid thing like that.
Yeah,
I don't know what you wrote it down, but
yeah,
make it something expensive like that.
As it should be, because that's your main dude, because we don't have like the heavens, if you will, up in the sky where all the gods live, because then they would just duke it out right then and there and be done with it.
You're not allowed to fight on Mount Olympus. Them's the rules.
Yeah, but because there are 5 moons that are also active territory that can be conquered, I couldn't put anything up there. So it's like literally your gods are almost like the demigods, like a half elf and half god, but they're living on the the planet, and they don't go up and into heaven every once in a while to take a break or whatever. So they're on the ground, usually in your place of power, with your prophet being the immediate go-between, so that you don't burn the eyes out of your minions when they see you.
Okay. Well,
I mean, unless you want blind minions.
You just give them a blindfold and have your fun.
Mm-hmm.
I got to do this now specifically for our good buddy Crafton. Only
if your high priest has a magic level high enough to cast the Raise Dead spell.
Yeah. What level is Raise Dead anyway?
It depends on the school. I think there's only 2 schools that get it, but it's like 7, 8, 9, or 10. It's up there.
As a demon worshipping, demon
summoning,
demon summoner, do I get Raise Dead
in entropy?
Sorry, what, Armstrong?
I said that the Raise Dead was, I think, like level 8 in entropy school.
That's Raise Undead.
Potato, tomato, tomato.
I knew you were going there.
One goes to the negative plane, one goes to the positive plane.
Well, no, Raise Undead, you get half the minion's stats. They're cut in half because you're essentially, I assume you're using it to steal other people's troops. If you defeat an army and then you immediately cast Raise Undead, well, then you get an undead army for the cost of a spell, but their numbers are diminished because they're all right.
So like you normally.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's like they are basically over 40. There you go.
Over 40.
Yeah. Go home and hug your kids. That's the command you give them, right?
And I wanted to ask. There's a couple of things that I haven't implemented, which was because you're not there yet, and I don't see anybody getting there rapidly. But later in the game, Absolutely, George. It could be a perk. Higher level spells. Uh, once you get past 10, you can start researching and developing spells, even if they're like spells outside your school, which would make it easier. It's like, well, my school doesn't get this spell, but it technically, I think it could. You know what I mean? So you can research it at 11th or 15th or 20th level, because I expect at some point there to be like 20th level spells.
Yeah.
Because
I need to-
I always recommend putting in a cap, but yeah,
Yeah. Well, there has to be a cap on everything because you don't want just like endless power creep, but you also don't want like, hey, I got the max level spells and they do dick against you because you're level 20 billion.
yeah. So I mean, I would do a cap somewhere in there.
What you want is around, what's the maximum spell currently existing?
10.
10. Okay, 10. So if you cast a 10 level spell, there's a chance the ground it was cast on becomes ocean permanently.
I don't know about that, but
Well, it's the outcome apocalypse.
it depends on what the spell is. I think,
Yeah.
you know, uh,
If it's a volcano, then yeah, you get a volcano
yeah, I can see some stuff like that.
There's a magma blow up, and then it becomes a crater in the ground. It's ocean.
Or you
No,
can turn
it's a
water
lake.
into wine.
You know,
Well, the point is that the world has to become the world we're playing our game in.
That's
Yeah,
in the
Sundays.
future.
Yeah, there
But
are.
it doesn't come
He's
from-
got a good point. There are, consequences to this level magic. Because, like I was explaining, I forget to who, these spells. There's a reason why they take a week to cast, or you can only do one a week per character or caster. Because when you like raise dead an army, or you whatever you do, it's a massive, super powerful ritual that affects kilometers, potentially everything in that freaking hex. You know what I mean? Is affected by that ritual, unless it's a combat spell, and that's a little bit different. But
I'm not saying it's hard. If somebody casts a level 10 spell, you pick up a d20 and roll it, and if it's a 1, that hex becomes water.
Or no, the hex becomes whatever the spell would have created. Is what should happen.
But the point is, it has to become the world that we're playing in our Sunday game, which is an ocean world.
No.
why I'm
You're
picking
missing my
water.
point, which is there's an apocalypse that will happen that will turn it into an ocean world.
Yeah, I'm
That's
assuming
what
these
they're saying.
wars are the apocalypse. 'Cause
Yeah, they
it's
are.
God Wars.
they literally are. But there are multiple ways that it could. I was thinking. I think I was talking to Raven today about it. What would cause the oceans to rise?
A comet.
Flooding.
A comet is the most common one.
A comet, a heat event, if someone started summoning extra water elementals, or opening a plane to the elemental plane of water or something like that, that would flood it too.
I got a horn that does that.
Opening a gate, like if you opened a moon gate to the water moon, and left it open, it could
Yeah,
drain.
Omanau, why do you turn your goddamn taps off?
Right. Uh-huh. The water god will look like Kevin Costner, as long as you didn't say Jason Momoa. Otherwise, I'd have to kick you from the game. And George, I thought you were
Kevin
joking.
Costner, he does have gills.
He does. He does. Mm-hmm.
Jason Momoa character can
We just
reach
lost
to
Omen, I guess,
closest, so-
That was a sun thing, or he's going back to the old Omen we used to know, where every 5 minutes he'd get kicked.
Nah, he's just upset that I confronted him on water consequences. I'm taking
No.
all credit for that. I'm
actually-
driving everyone away.
It's actually a really good point. I hadn't thought of. Things have to happen for
Yeah.
the apocalypse to happen. There's a there's a chart actually in the artifacts section of the Encyclopedia Magica, which is this 4-volume set of literally tens of thousands of magic items. And in the artifacts, there's a chart where you can give it a catastrophic power, which will raise the land for like a square mile, which now today seems kind of weak in comparison. But back then, wow, a whole friggin' mile is suddenly affected by pestilence. That's like, yes, so you know what I mean? It's a mile, big fucking deal. But back then it
Well,
seemed like
in a medieval setting, that would be fucking
it
terrible.
could be, yeah. If you hit the prime cropland, or everything in a mile caught on fire, like some of these spells will do, that could,
Yeah,
especially like there's the earthquake spell, the tornado spell,
yeah,
and some of the other fire spells that will fuck up the land. And if you start doing that, and you hit the wrong fault line, or crack a tectonic plate in the right place, wrong place, and it slides into the ocean, and suddenly that continent over there is now underwater. Well, all that water is going to come up, and that could do it. Or
yeah.
like I think it
Well,
was Ruben said, a comet or a meteor or big old freaking asteroid or caverns collapse. Good one. If something massive happens,
one of the method of creating, like one of the proposed methods of creating oxygen on Mars and more water is rock cracking, which is like you burn rock so hot that it becomes like oxygen and hydrogen, and then
Gaseous
some of
form.
that recombines into like
water.
water and more oxygen. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that's what I'm getting. Like you could have spells that like the magic heat, the chance that the magic heat just does that to like a chunk of
Mm-hmm.
land, and like you have the tainted water, so that could be what's tainting that water, is that it's like,
Not natural water. It's
yeah, it's a byproduct of like magically burning the ground into nothingness.
yikes. That could be pretty awesome or devastating or
Yeah.
world ending.
Yeah.
Huh.
So yeah, you summon level 10 vines, but like the guy does the hand thing just slightly wrong. And he's supposed to do right, and I don't know, whatever your fucking magic is, and oh fuck, we're all dead now, and there's purple water here.
So
It's
my
got
question
magic
is,
glow.
yeah, like I have a couple of questions. So we all know that the army march on a full stomach, yeah.
But
Do
not
we
all
have
at
any
once,
kind of
because they'll puke.
resources?
Sorry,
No,
what Armstrong?
Do we use any kind of resources in that game? Because we are constructing forges out of nowhere, temples out of nowhere. Basically, I know that we are gods, so we are hands-on in this game. I'm assuming,
Mm-hmm.
because otherwise, I cannot feel like this nation that we want to create, or the faction by themselves. The minions of ours, yeah, have zero power and zero influence in the world.
Well, you got a couple of things. Everything is happening at like, you know,
the abstract.
no, well, not just the abstract, but at a point so early in history that there's no trade because you've not met each other. There's no, uh, bartering because it's, the God says do this and everybody says yes, sir.
Yeah,
Hold on
and
just a second,
What I'm
guys.
what I'm asking about is this, yeah. Let's just say I'm building a city, yeah, and that I'm a huge strategy game nerd, yeah. I love
yes.
playing civilization, colonization, pirates, whatever, yeah. And we are building a city. Who's gonna feed that city?
Okay, that stuff is happening at a level that you're not keeping track of.
Precisely. Otherwise, the game would be way more complicated than I wanted to get into. Hopefully, like what happens. What happens in this scenario will like create the alliances and forge the partnerships and the trade routes and all that stuff that may come to still survive in the future of the world. But in the here and the now, there is no, there's probably not even real currency unless you want to imagine that in your own your own kingdom or empire. The god's right there. He's telling you you're doing this. There is no arguing. There is no bartering. God said I need that, therefore ship it, as
Yeah.
opposed to
Okay, no. I'm asking because like I said,
But-
for me, economy is always a big part of the games. Yeah,
Yes.
and I'm just looking at that, and it's just for me, like I said, because we're gonna be wanting to create something that then may be translated to the game. Yeah,
Your
so let's just say,
the resource you're going to be tracking, from what I can understand, is like the things you can either make, like just by saying I'm expending one of my actions,
Mhm.
right? So I'm expending one of my actions because you get 5. Um, that's your resource to keep track of, and then like you still have that object, right? Unless you lose it to someone or you steal theirs.
right.
Those are like the things you keep track of.
I'm just thinking in this case, I'm just kind of future proofing, future thinking.
Uh,
Because when we eventually gonna meet each other or meet NPCs or anything, yeah, I think that the subject of trade gonna kick in. Yeah. So
the
what are
subject
we
of what?
trading?
The subject of
Of trade.
trades,
Oh.
of resource trades. Yeah, but that's still like beneath the 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 level of granularity that we're playing at.
Okay, so we are playing basically Popolus game, yeah. When we are not interested, we are plucking the nation in, and we are not interested in the dealing of the little people.
Yeah, just
We are
assume they're getting that going on their own. So any
Mm.
kind of trade between the nations once we're allies is happening, but we don't give a shit what level it's at.
Mhm.
So like if cotton is coming from here and being exchanged for wood over there, that's down
Mhm.
there. It's beneath our sense of smell.
Yeah, like George said, we can assume the support structure is created with the unit, farms, markets, roads, etc.
Yeah.
Um, if we added any of that, it would easily take up another 25 pages of rules because somebody, the guy I was talking about, Tom Dye, who's a game designer, was looking at this is wondering the same thing, and I'm like, do you know how much there would be no war in the traditional sense because everybody would be required to eventually make peace because hey, I need X commodity and I don't have X commodity, and if I raise their land to the ground, I still won't have it.
That's a problem with most war games, is like commodities are so sparsely spaced compared to reality,
Mm-hmm.
which is stupid. And then like things that could be cultivated are just like, you need that hex. Well, I have like all this land over here. Why can't I grow goddamn wheat? Because you
Right.
don't have the wheat hex.
But you realize that by default I'm a warmonger.
Yeah. Well, that's why like the 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 point is like, yeah, I can just like start causing famines across your land to cause your armies
Mm-hmm.
to
Starve.
starve. But maybe we'll add that mechanic if we see a need for it. But
No, but like I'm just thinking, yeah, that most of the gods are greedy by nature because
When I
they are greedy for power. Yeah.
right,
yes,
right, but I
and
And the
that's
also
believers.
that's your commodity.
So is there gonna be a resource that gods, as the greedy creatures that they are, would be able eventually to trade between each other? I'm not talking about our nations 12 right now.
Well, there
Yeah.
is a mechanic in play. Okay, if you start building forges, forges are required to make magic items or the equivalent of a technological item. Let's say, right?
Mhm.
Well, if you start being able to produce one every week, which is possible, then you could say, "Hey, I'll make you a this if you join me." Like rings of power.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or whatever, right? Like you make.
I'll make you an item that gives you a +3 on whatever stat you want, as long as you're my ally.
Yeah. Well, we know what kind of item you want. What kind of ring you want there, Shadow? The the one ring to restrict blood flow.
Hold on just a second, guys. I got to take care of some family thing.
I
You
don't
know,
know if
just
this
like,
joke is getting too far, but I'm gonna push it more.
yeah. Well, it's a family channel, so
Not with me on it. Not with me on it.
No, but like that's what like, because I'm always thinking about, if God's gonna start diplomacy between each other, then bribery would be one of the things that can work.
Yes.
And to commit bribery,
You
you
need to
need to
have
have a
some sort of.
resource to bribe with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you cannot trade your actions unless you can. If you can trade your actions, then they are a very good resource to bribe and trade with.
Yeah. Well, you could always, like, offer to do something, like you're saying, I'll make you this thing. Well, if I'm making it for you, you don't have to make it yourself, right?
Yeah, but that Shadow already do that in his basement.
I don't want anything he makes in his technically garage. He's in California. He doesn't have a basement.
Oh yeah, true. I forgot that most houses in US do not really have basements. Generally.
No. In California,
In California, you say only.
but
Listen, I'm a
most
European. I'm
folks.
ignorant about US. Yeah, let's be
Yes.
honest.
Okay. 'Cause,
Yeah, I can be forgiven because I'm just a ignorant European who, you know, yeah. And let's leave it like that.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
need to ask Hongar to basically reset the Isle of Sipta because everything is teleporting right now.
Teleporting.
Yeah. Oh, I
Oh.
got ganked by teleporting skeletons.
Oh. Fuck. That sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what his server is, Sipta?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It kind of sucks. I prefer the other one.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Sipta's got some things going for it, but
It feels too flat for me.
well, you've got to get inland more. I don't know where you are on the map, but
Well, I'm in one of the isles, but
yeah,
generally there is a lot of flatland in here. Like I like the red
yeah.
forest. Yeah, let's be honest. The red forest is cool. Yeah, you could build like jungle, kind of Ewok villages in it if you
Hmm.
want to, which is awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
but then there is that island on the bottom, the dawn and dusk islands. Yeah, uh,
Yes.
there is some cool terrain in there.
Hmm.
But I don't know, when we were playing on the normal server, I just felt like there was much more variety of things.
Yeah.
Although I still
They're
didn't really go to the left side of the map too much, so
yeah.
that might be a problem as well.
Omanal Shadow went to go deal with something. He'll let you in when he gets back, I guess. Just pay attention for that. Oh, but yeah, I don't know. We'll
He
see
said
how
family
this.
issues, so probably one of the garage slaves is trying to escape.
Or got into the meth stockpiles before his dose. If this was my channel, I would play that song where it's what's it called? Oh, I can't remember. The one where he has the high school football star with the meth. I have a whole bunch
You
of
don't
them.
know.
Yeah, I don't think you were coming on the channel when I started playing this. I gotta make some more parody songs of Shadow's porn career with AI. Oh,
Yeah, I think that too many people already got on the button with that.
what?
I think that too many people already got on the button messing with Shadow, and
I started this joke,
that
man.
that even includes me. So yeah,
Yeah. Oh.
believe me, I'm trying to restrain myself, but Shadow tend to walk into that thing, with
He
his
does.
eyes, wide open.
He
Yeah.
does walk into it sphincter first.
No, he does not. It's so
You
foul.
do.
It's so wrong. You see
Okay,
what I
Never.
guys?
All right, so I'm going to bring up a couple more things now. I'm looking more through the spells.
Magic is gay. So I was
One of them is
channeling Mr. Max.
if you're going to have elementals, a lot of them are like, well, they can summon all elementals, but you should limit that they can't cast an elemental spell unless they have an elemental sphere of that. So that's what should be there. And the other part is Moongate. Moongate should be relegated to where they go.
Yeah. You have to build a specific Moongate.
Yeah. So
I didn't want to force people into which moon they want to conquer. Let's say.
Well, my point is that you have 5 moons. So if you get the moon of fire or whatever,
Sorry.
that's where
I couldn't hear you. My dog is being a jerk.
Oh.
Can you start over?
So you have like a moon of fire and a moon of water and stuff like that. But then that moon gate would go to that sphere. That sphere would go to that moon only. Is my point for having that.
So if you want to invade all 5 moons, you got to build 5 moon gates.
Well, no, the spell the spell is a temporary portal. There are permanent ones you can find, but the spell is a temporary. It opens it, you can go through, and then it closes. You want to get back, you got to open it again.
Yeah, but that's my point. Is I look at the elven spells, and they have Moongate, and then the elemental spells all have Moongate. But you're not. What I'm trying to say is that you should have the sphere of fire to cast fire spells. You should have the sphere of air to cast air spells.
Mm-hmm.
Because you shouldn't just get all elemental, because many of them are already duplicated by other spells, like summon elemental. They're all the same in a lot of the different ones, and so instead, it's guess what? Humans might be able to summon all elementals, but other races would depend on, oh well, they can summon this one or that one. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, that was kind of it was kind of the reverse. Well, not necessarily reverse, but some races, obviously they have an obvious affinity to one or more,
right.
whereas others, like for example, the reptilians are one of the most magically endowed races. That's why they get all.
Well, no, I don't mind it saying all. My point being is that you kind of negate it by allowing them all to have all the elemental spells. So if they can cast all the elemental spells, then they could cast all of the, then they could summon any elemental. It doesn't matter what race they are. That's what I'm trying to say is really you should limit the elemental spells only those people that have that elemental sphere. That's what I'm trying to say for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the races, depending, like you said, is, well, some of them can summon all elementals. But if you're the sphere of fire, then you can only summon this fire elemental. But if you don't have that sphere and you don't have a race that can cast that, because a lot of them do have summon elemental. It's just a lot of them just become super redundant that there's almost no point. But that's all I'm trying to say is, guess what? If you didn't pick a sphere of air, you can't cast tornado. That's what it should be for some of those spheres.
Well, part of that also. Well, I'm trying to think.
Otherwise, what you should do is give it what instead say, guess what you get, because you only tell them to get 2 spheres outside of what is it, entropy or whatever enthalpy. The basically the you get the one of law, you get one of other, but then you might say, hey, pick 2 spheres, and that way you could say, okay, you can pick one elemental and then one other of whatever you determine, or something like that. It just seems that a lot of them are, you're making it so. Yeah, a lot of them are just redundant. Otherwise, it's like, well, they're in the same spell list for several of them, and you go, okay, well then what's the point of having summon elemental in the fire sphere? I guess some of that would come down to if you have a priest or something, and they can only summon this or that.
It's partially that, and because like every empire can be made differently.
Yeah,
Especially if you're going and you're looking at the spells, like what spell lists do I need access to? I'm going to pick those, either that sphere or something along those lines, so where I can make sure I get that school of magic somehow.
I was just saying that a lot of the summon elementals on, it seems like probably well over half the list that don't even include elementals. So it's like, well, if you're going to do that, then switch it up. And then some of them say, well, okay, summon demon or summon. I mean, a lot of them are redundant, which is fine. It's just, I think that, allowing the gods to have access to all the elemental spells is a little excessive.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say. Is if you really want to, then say, okay, the gods are allowed to get one, whatever their equivalent is. Let's say, if I'm the god of the forge, and then say, guess what? You get the you get fire, and then you also get forge spells or something, and then say, oh, okay, but you don't get all the elemental spells. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I can knock it down to like 1 or 2, depending on. Let me look at the list.
Yeah. Just say, guess what? When you put in the list of the spells, you don't get all elemental spells. Say, pick 1 sphere of an elemental spell, and then you go, oh, okay. That's all I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Shadow,
fix your shit.
Yeah. Well, that way you don't get like, Zeus and Poseidon coming in. It's like, well, Zeus is I'm the god of the air, but I can do all the things that Poseidon can for the water. Like, no, one's water, one's air.
Yeah. You know what I might do is go with assigning an element to each of the 5 stats.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, so that you know what element you are.
Okay. Yeah, that would be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, because I wanted to give the gods access to the elemental spells, but I didn't know how to determine which one they got or which ones they got. And it does make sense that the god of fire or volcanoes should not have access to tidal wave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, god of explosions, for example, yes? Can he have access to water and fire spells?
Are you referring to the fact that if you mix the 2, you get an explosion?
Yes.
Okay. You could work it if you gosh, how would you do that?
Well, what I'm saying is, in certain cases, is you could say, guess what? It's like all gods get 1 element, and you get 1 out of the others. But then, like you said, well, I'm the god of steam. Well, okay, steam has both water and fire, basically.
Right. Let me find a way to
Sure.
word that, and I'll knock it down. Now, the same thing I was thinking also in retrospect, that the wizards, I think they get elemental, and they should probably only get 1 school per wizard.
Right.
So you have to make more than 1 if you want.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Because you should want, if you're going to build a wizard school, you should have like, well, I need 4 towers minimum. Okay, well, I'll make 1 of each of the 4 food groups of wizards, and now I've got this school that caters to all 4 elements, and it makes sense. I should be taking notes.
You can watch the stream
Video.
Well, I'm putting it in my comments too. So, and to be fair, since it's kind of play by post, the worst that happens is, hey guys, guess what? We've done this iteration of the game. Can we do another iteration? And we'll fix all the things that went wrong in this game and keep going that a few times.
And thank you for reminding me, Armstrong. I already have a note card here. Got to look at it for the full effect.
Mhm.
It's create a space play by post game, in which case trading and resource management will be up to your eyeballs, because that's
Okay.
makes way more sense in a game like that. Because I'm trying to instill a sense of the beginning of your world. You know what happened in the earliest of days when the gods touched down on the ground, were born, sprang up from the earth, whatever. You know, and they're looking around like, you know, in this big empty world, what am I going to do with my power? You know, from the very beginning, and then later, you know, if this was a world that wasn't destined to be devastated by the catastrophe of the God Wars, what would be the resulting trade routes and alliances and things like that would be completely different. This one has that
Yeah.
little, you know, effect, because you could literally end up. I could see if some other group was playing, right, that their God Wars ended up in world peace. You know what I mean?
Gay.
I know, but it could literally happen.
Well, you don't know. You are gay.
Shut the fuck up. But I mean,
You
especially
find world peace out in the garage every 20 minutes.
well,
It's not world peace, that's peace of world.
it just reminded me of that great. What was it? Outer Limits or Tales from the Dark Side? A Small Talent for War. You guys remember that one?
Is that the one where old man Lex Luthor, his dad from Smallville, comes to Earth, and it's like, you guys aren't ready yet for the galactic
Yeah,
stage or whatever,
yeah.
and then they're like hurrying up, and like the UN signs World Peace Treaty.
Uh
It's
huh.
like, what the fuck, you guys? You're supposed to be our frontline soldiers. We're
Yep.
just gonna
Yep.
wipe you
Yep.
out and start over again.
Yep. That's the
Yeah.
one. That's the one. That's
Yeah,
like one
yeah.
of the only ones
That
I
was an
remember.
episode of the Outer Limits.
That was the only one I remember. And the weirdest part about it is all these decades since it was on the air. In my mind, it wasn't Lex Luthor's dad or Lex Luthor or whoever you were saying. It was John Delancey who was that guy.
John Delancey.
Q.
Maybe it was a remake from an older one.
Maybe that's what I saw, but I don't think so. But
Because those things got remade. Like every time they rebooted one of those shows, they remade like all the old ones.
well, it was pretty long. It was kind of a long time ago, but I could have
It
sworn
might have been. It might have been Ray Bradbury's Theater.
No, but that one was good. That episode was very good.
Or what is it, Harlan Ellison and his stuff?
Screw that guy.
Did he ever do a variety show or
I
whatever you
can't
call?
picture anybody ever wanting to work with him more than the one project. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, the problem is that Harlan Ellison wrote so much that he kind of copyrighted it all, and so then they have to pay him royalties, otherwise they sued him. When he
No. We got at least one example of where he ripped off someone else.
Oh yeah, I know that Ray Bradbury did not like Harlan Ellison at all.
I don't know
Any
anybody
same
who did
person
like
who-
him.
Yeah.
But,
People that liked getting on the bandwagon of suing someone for stupid shit liked him.
Excuse
There
me.
were a few people he attached to lawsuits to help legitimize them, and those people liked him when they got paid as. But
Thanks, Disney
yeah,
and Nintendo. Nintendo's the other one.
I don't know, like, I don't care.
what?
I just say that I don't know and I don't care
About
suing and stuff like that.
oh,
Really outside of my game plan.
mhm.
Completely.
Yeah.
So hey, speaking of which, Armstrong, when are you gonna run a game?
Well, how the hell did my camera get shut off? Supposed to hit that key.
I
That's
don't
the
think that I don't think that I have time or patience at the moment to run a game.
Oh, okay. Well, it's now on my bucket list. So the longer you put that off, the longer I get to stick around, I guess. So I'm okay with that, but it's still on my bucket list.
What do you do?
Listen.
What do you do Saturdays at 9:30 till? We start our Sunday games at 8:00, so 9:30 will be an hour and a half. After that, my time till about 11:30. That's what we usually play, the Cyberpunk game, right?
Traveler.
But fuck you, I'm calling it Cyberpunk. I made that mistake a few weeks ago, and I told you I was going to keep doing it just for the fun of it.
Okay.
Well, you're
No idea
evil.
why, but okay.
What?
I said I have no idea why, but okay. Because
It's
not.
funny when I get things wrong. This is me humanizing myself.
Yeah, like all the gay jokes. Sure, I get it.
That's not wrong. We
Certainly.
have proof that you filmed gay porn live. Omanal can back me up on that.
I don't remember anything. No.
You choose not to, but I know you do.
Yeah, one of these days I need to find out who was on that live stream and
Omanal was there. Omanal was there.
Along with Pepperidge Farm, remember?
What? What was that?
Along with Pepperidge Farm, remember?
And they're scarred for life.
Yes.
But a week later, they started putting out ladyfinger cookies. So
Ladyfingers? I got a box of those just the other day from the.
I've never had one or seen one.
It's like you know those cookies, those what was those? Not ginger snaps.
Biscotti?
Denser than that.
Here's the thing. Ladyfingers, if you've ever had tiramisu, that's what's in. Ladyfingers are in tiramisu, I believe.
I don't think I might have.
No, they're just chocolate coated like cookie.
Yeah.
No,
but thin.
Tiramisu, the base of tiramisu is biscotti, yes.
Biscotti, yeah.
Okay.
Which basically, the simple translation for biscotti is double baked.
No, but a
You bake it
ladyfinger.
once, take it out for 10 minutes, you bake it again, and it will be biscotti.
Huh. So essentially, everything I cook is a biscotti. I love crunchy foods.
Yeah.
Tonight we had fried chicken sandwiches with French fries, and everything had to be super freaking crunchy.
Mm.
And
yeah,
I got this
frying,
mix.
then refrying.
I got this mix for hush puppies, and I made them for the first time because I've only had them once, and I saw the batter in a bag, and I'm like, $1.50. Hush puppies. Okay, I'll give it a try. It's cooked in deep fried batter in oil. Yeah, that sounds like a good side dish for fried chicken and a bunch of other things that I cook. And Jackie's like, "Oh, these are really good. You need to put chicken in them."
$1.25. That's why I'm eating marshmallows instead of potato chips.
Marshmallows.
Yeah, it's in a bag. I grab them by a bunch. I shove them in my mouth. It's all the same to me.
There's no crunch in a marshmallow, even if you burn the crap out of them on a campfire. It's no real crunch.
Doesn't matter. It's a marshmallow.
Yeah.
And since a bag of potato chips is like $4 now,
A bag of Fritos for like what we would call like an average size, not the party size, which is barely enough for a quarter of a party, average party is 6.49 or some shit. I'm like, I
yeah.
was craving them so bad. I literally woke up that day like, oh my god, I need Fritos in my life right now. Oh, I'm going shopping. I went to the store.
$1.25.
Yeah, but there's no crunch. See, I got lots of food that doesn't crunch, but
But they're marshmallows.
mhm. No, wait. If I throw them in with some Rice Krispies and butter, I'll get them to crunch. One of the world's greatest freaking snack inventions. Rice Krispie squares.
Do you ever drizzle some chocolate on top?
No, but what I do in my recipe is actually I buy 2 boxes of Rice Krispies, one plain and one chocolate, and I mix them not quite half and half, so it's technically like the equivalent of a chocolate chip version.
Yeah, that sounds like some sort of mixed racial Rice Krispie square. I don't know if I can approve.
Yeah. You know what? That's actually what kind of fries we had with the chicken tonight. Was waffle fries, Brian. You know where the link is. You want to come in and chat? We were talking about the God Wars, which you should have joined us. You still can, but there's not much time before the report comes out for the God Wars. It's a play-by-post.
Yeah, you can always join late.
Anonymous
Moves fast.
war game of gods stomping out their playground and trying to beat the crap out of each other to become the supreme god of whatever.
The flooded lands.
It's
Yeah, I haven't seen a video from you in forever, dude. When was the last time you put out a video?
Who, Brian?
Brian.
He just did a
Yeah.
live stream like 4 days ago, 5 days ago.
Really? I need to go check my
Something like that.
notifications or whatever, because there's a bunch of channels that I haven't seen in a while, and every once in a while I'll see like one video, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot I was subscribed to them. Like RPG Elite, he was talking about no longer,
Doing Monty Cook games.
yeah, which is a shame because I didn't know anything about the guy, but I do have an autographed Monty Cook Arduin book that he wrote.
So Monty Cook went completely left wing.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
And actually, I mean, I'll say this much: the quality of his books are excellent. The books are great. The information in them is great. He does the hyperlinks. He probably does the best hyperlinks I've seen in just about any PDF in a long time. He does a lot of cross referencing. I mean, the stuff is, and what really gets me about this is RPG Elite. One of his favorite systems was Numenera.
Yeah,
And so
I caught that.
And this
I
is real
caught the whole video,
Yeah.
and I caught the precursor on Double D's show yesterday. And RPG Elite, he's a great guy. He made a video for me and Jack once upon a time, and I haven't seen his stuff in forever. And I thought maybe he's taking a break. And then the Monty Cook stuff came out. And sure enough, it pops up in my feed. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch it. And some guy had the nerve to post in the comments, 19. I'll save you the trouble. 19 minutes of of nothing to say he's not working with Monty Cook. It's like, yeah, dude, the guy's diplomatic and he's not gonna, he doesn't want to talk about it to begin with, and he's forced to, tell people he's not going to do this. And if you can't figure out why, you're probably watching the wrong channel or him for the wrong reason.
And what he said was, and I think this is true of everyone, I go to games to escape, not to deal with all of the political
Vacation, man.
Yeah, that's the whole point. I'm like, oh, I know, and it was, and like he said, and I'm not disagreeing with him. It was several things. It just wasn't one thing. He said, look, you guys are using this more of an activism platform. So
Yep.
I every time, and I'll be honest, every time I've played the Cypher system, I've had fun, but I don't like the system. So,
Yeah, am I the only one who watched the interview with him and his wife, and wondered how rich is this guy?
I don't know. Well,
I mean, there's no
Who?
way she's like in it for anything but the money.
what do you mean for him?
Yeah,
Or,
for her, why she's with him for anything but the money.
wait, which one are you talking about? Are you talking about Monty Cook or a different person?
Yeah, Monty Cook and his new wife, the wife he left his old wife for.
What is her name? Shauna or something like that?
I don't know, the blonde.
She,
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 she's not my type, but she's clearly like he's like a solid 5 tops, and she's like a 7, maybe an
well,
8
well, well,
pace.
she was the one. And when we talk about all the X cards, they're the ones that introduced the idea of X cards and stuff because she's real kinky and things. She writes erotic literature.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
certain of that.
I write
but
erotic literature. It doesn't fucking mean that I want X cards in my goddamn role playing game. for
I
fuck's
understand.
sake.
What I'm saying is that the X
No,
cards
you don't
comes
understand. I write some fucking kicky shit.
I did see the line,
No,
but I didn't
What,
see
but
the
you not
battle.
understand what I'm trying to say here, which is they wrote a book on. I forgot it was something about all the sexuality. I mean, it was real risque for that. I forgot what it was called, but yeah, she does the bondage stuff in like real life. Anyway, I really don't care that much. She's a good writer for what she writes. I like their predation setting, which is dinosaurs back in the 65 million years ago, where they sent people time traveling to before that time. And it's a really cool setting. I really do like it. Um, like I said, they're good writers, but I'm not thinking it's just money. I think it's she's worked with him. She probably worked with him for 10 years or something. So there's probably
Yeah, but
status because
it seems like a mismatch when it comes to the 1 to 10 scale. Just saying, and she
it's not
seemed
about
like
the 1 to 10 scale.
scale is not like a
Yeah, that
hard
doesn't
fast
mean too
rule.
much for what they're doing. You have to remember that
Monty Cook.
you don't become rich by becoming
making
an
role playing
RPG.
games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I know.
I mean,
It
if
just,
she's
just
looking
seems
for the
so
fun,
odd because she clearly wears the pants in the family now.
or the
Maybe that's what he's
dildo,
always wanted.
or or the strap on.
I wouldn't know about that.
I'm just saying that it's the whole kinky aspect things for what she's going for. But
Something. I don't know. But I just I feel for RPG Elite. Because you could tell he was pretty bummed. It was like when Bo saw the recent spewings from Steve Jackson. When your favorite
yeah,
author jumps off the deep end and you want to burn your collection.
well, it is GURPS. It deserves to be burned.
Not as much as say Pathfinder or something.
Yeah, Pathfinders.
I don't have Pathfinder. I'm just saying that I GURPS is one of those things that's great for an idea. It's horrible in implementation.
No thanks, Brian. You can keep mine. I don't need one. Don't want one. Yuck.
Well, you have to understand. I'm going to mention this because I was listening to what was Ted Carlson interviewing the guy about Budweiser, and all these RPG games over in Europe as part of their, what they call their responsibilities as being
Right.
this is to push their whatever agenda is being told to them. So I'm not surprised because the Monolith is actually a French company. So I'm not
Yeah,
surprised
I-
we're told to put that in there.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I play so many old games and want to play the
Yep.
old games because they didn't give a shit about anything but putting out a quality game that would speak for itself purely on the merits of the genre and the system and what they wanted to bring to our tables. There's so many great games out there that going all the way back to 1970s that were just purely about starting with the wargaming groups out there. We're just gonna play a cool game, and when it's over, you go do your thing. I'm gonna go do my thing. I'll see you again next weekend. Uh,
Mhm.
the way it should be. I mean, look at us. If it weren't for games, a lot of us wouldn't give each other the time of day. Maybe not. I don't know. But
Yeah, I tend not to associate with gay porn producers normally.
normally, yeah, you make an exception for me, huh?
He admits to it. He confesses.
I wasn't done, fucker. Considering we hang out 6 days a week, sometimes even that's 7.
Yeah, I have a strict no shadow on Tuesdays policy.
You know what sucks too? Well, it doesn't suck because I'm pretty sure I talk to you on Tuesdays too. Maybe not,
Sometimes.
not on camera, or unless it's on. No, I was gonna say we don't do anybody else's show together. Um,
Yeah.
Shadow. One thing, yeah? When you are around Justin, never use word sucks.
Yeah, I let that one slide because you gotta
you
do it
let a
every now
couple
and
of
then.
slide. I think you're getting
I was
tired.
just like, Shadow is stomping on a very thin ice right now.
That's me, man. Cleats and everything. Um, oh
Yeah,
man.
we don't. We all know you don't go anywhere near anything called a cleat because it sounds too close to clit, and you cannot touch one of those.
I'm not going to say what I was thinking, but that's not
You're
true.
allergic.
No, I'm definitely not allergic. That's definitely not the case. Um, so
So my first action is to build a city, and then a temple and a forge, and a flying army. That's all. That's 5, right? 5
Well, no,
out
no,
of
no.
my.
You have 10 points to spend first.
Yes, so these are my 10 points. City, forge, temple, flying army. That's 5 out of my. No, that's 6 because flying force is 3, right?
yep.
So that's 6.
You're not supposed to put it online, you know.
He's
I'm being facetious.
yeah. We clearly know that he's doing nothing but raising demons and doing everything he can do to raise them as quickly and fast as possible.
Yeah, yeah. And I have to attack first. That's my alignment policy.
Yeah. I thought Raven was going to join us. She had like a buttload of questions.
Yeah, this is Raven we're talking about.
She's still stuck at the bottom of her,
Over hill.
Up there, and she's stuck at the bottom of the hill trying to get back up.
Yeah.
Oh, I know she got her vehicle all fixed up and some other things. But she had to go get cat food again. 40 freaking pounds of cat food. That's crazy.
Okay.
That's
Per
a
day.
crazy amount of cat food.
Yeah.
And sometimes she'll get double that, I think, or something. I'm just like that's like if my dog ate dog food, which he's like he just won't do it anymore. He won't eat his dog food. He'll go all day just waiting for us to give him scraps or whatever instead, which I don't understand.
We've taken to feeding our dogs boiled chicken and rice. Much cheaper and healthier.
Is there chicken in it or just chicken broth?
No, chicken. Like, you get the fucking cheap ass chicken.
Oh, okay, okay.
And then rice, because it's what most dog food's made out of anyway.
Rice and bone meal and other dogs.
Well, he is in Canada. It's horses.
Horse.
I have nothing against eating a horse.
As long as it's not a lie.
Shadow has nothing against eating a horse either, just not the way you or I are talking about.
No,
he lives near Tijuana, so there's that. The question is, which was he the one blowing the donkey or being the donkey? Sorry.
But that 40 pounds will last a month. No, it won't, because you're feeding the raccoons too. If the raccoons get a hold of it, that's like one day. You got like 8 raccoons all bellied up in your garage. just like twitching. That was
You
so
walk by and they're like,
The trash pandas.
because they have thumbs. It's like,
good. I
and they
thought you
can
were
give
going to
you a
join us, Raven. Get your ass in here.
yeah. You know more about the rules than I do.
Yeah, class this place up a little bit. Can you?
Oh.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens 6 months, a year from now. Who's stomping on who?
The second I die in the game, I'm not going to sign back up.
Sorry, what?
The second I die in the game, I'm not going to sign back up. You said we could sign back up. Yeah. I think I'm just going to do the one life. I'm going to Iron Man it.
No security, you're playing a female character.
No.
So I cannot track you over.
Yeah, well, at some point I got to come up with the prizes too. I was thinking about that the other night. It's like, what the hell am I going to give away?
You're going to give away
So Shadow, the first award,
one of those
that's
boats.
that's gonna go to Justin directly. Should be yours body pillow. Justin would love
I
one.
do not want his body pillow. I do not want to know what kind of stains are on that thing.
I'd wash it before shipping.
Well,
You're
I was
gay. It
saying,
doesn't matter.
I'm saying, a body pillow with the Shadow's visage on it.
Oh. And on the other side it says, how big are your hands?
Would be like that, yes. As well, you can make your hand, put it on the piece of wood, cut that piece of wood, and send it to Justin as a paddle.
I don't know the whole
Hello.
story, Raven. I don't know what you're talking about. My short-term memory is fried. And why do you think I have to write so many notes? If you were to look at my desk right now, I kid you not, there's about 20 posties and index cards just full of notes. I don't know what the hell to do with them. I got an index card box over there, but that's like work.
You gotta be careful with those posties, because that's different than a post-it. Postie is different than a post-it. You know, one of them goes postal and the other sticks to a fridge or something.
Oh, okay. Well, then they're post-its. But except they're
Now it would be funny and kind of sad if they went postal in your painting room.
except I buy the generic ones. I don't even buy the 3M or whatever. I buy the generic ones.
Yeah, so they fall off the wall really easily.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. But they'll stick to things you don't want them to stick to, like freaking magnets.
What?
Yeah. I've got a lot of freaking clutter on my desk.
Yes.
Everything else is neat and tidy, dust it regularly, the whole bit. But this 2x4 area is a freaking disaster.
Oh, 2x4.
Well, that's how big the table is roughly 2x4, maybe a little bigger on each dimension, but not by much. Yeah.
You should be a decent hobbyist and make your table out of a piece of plywood. So 4x8.
That wouldn't even fit in this room. It's not as big as it looks. It's literally the smallest room in the house.
Yeah. I think I'd be able to just get that up against this wall here. 9 feet. Oh,
I used to have 4x4 in one of my rooms.
4x4.
That was a good time. Yeah, 4x4 gaming table.
Yeah.
It wasn't standard Warhammer size, but it was good enough to play Mordheim on it, like a maniac.
Battlefleet Gothic is really good on a 4x4 table.
As would be Aeronauticus Imperialis. That'd be perfect. Necromunda. Epic Space Marines. I get no, that's got to be 4x8. Who am I kidding?
I haven't
You can
played
do
Epic in
4x4.
ages.
I'm telling you, Armstrong, you come to the States, I'll hook you up, man. That's my favorite war game. To this day, I haven't seen anything that has that like literally epic feel. Like this is a freaking war game. This isn't a skirmish. This isn't a little freaking, you know, dinky little battle. This is a freaking war. Um, Especially when
You
you
know,
have
one
like
day I want to. One day
skyscraper
I would. Yeah,
buildings.
and the
I
Titans.
showed you the Lazy Forge miniatures that you can print off if you get a printer. They're all epic scale.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I remember showing them to you like ages ago.
There is ton of those miniatures for Epic, online. You can just get
Yeah.
them and print them out.
Lazy
So
Forge has
many.
their own designs because they have like a game you can download off their website.
Cool.
Um, but they're all in that same scale. I'm gonna go look for the website and see if I can find it.
Even if you don't, even if you are not really into Space Marines or whatever, yeah, you can just take any other miniature that you find and scale it down to 6 mils. As long as they have thick enough arms and legs, they're gonna kind of work.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, that's one thing I really liked about not just Epic, but like the full battle tech when you had what was it, Aerotech uh, incorporated with it, where you have you got
Yeah.
infantry, you got vehicles, you got giant stompy robots, and you got aircraft.
Yes, well, I liked that whole thing. Now the problem is that BattleTech took so long to play. I love the idea. It's something to be better done on a computer than it's done on the board.
Yeah. Yeah, sadly the actual like game that was out a while ago wasn't like full on
That looks
because
good.
yeah,
That looks like it looks a lot like the new Epic
yeah.
in a way.
And this is just one of the factions.
Oh, is that the one that's got that vehicle that opens up or something? That big transport?
This one right here, it has like the troop thing, and then there's like a different module for something else here.
Hmm. I remember it now.
Yeah, yeah. And then this was their original faction, the tech. I like this thing. I gotta get this.
Uh-huh.
What was the other one that was dropship, which was 6 millimeter, and
Yeah,
it was
Dropship
actually like,
Commander.
yeah, it was like true
Yeah.
scale almost. So you could, things could actually, like, you could put, like, if it was supposed to carry so much, it would actually fit it on there.
Um. Yeah, sort of. I know that they had, and they eventually sold this one model because they had the drop suit commander and drop ship commander.
Yeah,
One was like their space game, and then they when they released their space game, they built like a full scale that would take the tanks from the tabletop, like the infantry, the skirmish game,
yeah,
onto it, like because obviously the fleet game was much smaller scale than uh, the skirmish game.
right.
But they built like a full size ship at the same scale as the infantry, so it could just slide into the side where the bays were,
Hmm.
and that thing was gorgeous. Um, and they kept it around for so long, and then they got rid of it. But it was dumb because getting rid of it. I know that they kept bringing it out to the trade shows or the cons and shit, and it was getting
Yeah.
too expensive to do that. Instead of just like mounting it on a thing in the lobby of their office and leaving it there, uh, it's probably in a fucking landfill now because they sold
Mhm.
it to someone who probably couldn't even have that kind of space for it. So very sad. Wow.
So many of those big projects, I know, just all that love put into them, and then uh,
Yeah.
shit canned. I used to watch. Oh God, what was that guy's name? There was one crafter somewhere in the UK. Uh, I forget his channel. I'll look. I think they may have even actually shut down for some dumb reason. But they had this huge freaking studio where they would build massive tables, in the course of like a week or whatever. Two guys, I think. One guy didn't really talk much, and they just built the crap out of these gorgeous scenes and terrain tables. And I guess they maybe they sold them off or whatever. But I know that
Was he with the dreadlocks?
no, but he did have like the ear ring spacer thingies, I think, and a lot of tattoos.
Yeah. He shut down. Fuck. He changed his. He had the red hair.
Yeah, and
Uh,
thick accent.
yeah, he's
Seemed
from
like a
like
decent guy, but he
Scotland or
also seemed like he
something.
might be gay. Um,
No, he had a wife and kids.
but they made great stuff. A lot of times just with like painting canvases that would be the actual table, but
Yeah.
they stiff them up.
He started that company, Scenic Terrain or whatever, or
Okay.
like he sold flock and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was originally like a painting. Like he started off as like I'll paint your stuff channel,
Okay.
and then
Maybe
like that got too much.
he was like one of the first guys that scaled down 40K to like.
Yeah. When with the 3D printing,
Mhm.
he did that. He's like, because Epic was not a thing and they hadn't brought it back yet. It was like,
Right. It was like
yeah,
2x2 tables and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
He,
good
he
stuff.
he he did that with everything. He did that with. He was really big into that Mantic game.
Well, which one? There's a bunch of them.
The classic one, the fantasy one.
Kings of War.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
He was really big
I
into
was thinking
Kings of War.
Armada. I'm really looking forward to their epic Warpath. I backed that years ago and still nothing. It
You
looks
know
really
what though? I don't like the epic stuff. It's not. I think the Warpath was their 40K equivalent, whereas the what was it called? The other game looked really cool. I forgot what that one was called, but they got rid of the faction I liked, which is the Rebels. Yeah, was it? It wasn't Dreadball. It was the other one. But
oh
yeah, well, there was. Yeah, I mean, I saw that. I like their terrain. I don't know how good it is, but man, that terrain that looks all modular that you just snap together and you can paint, and you can create 3-dimensional, however high and things like that. I think that's pretty cool.
yeah, that's why I liked Necromunda so much because it wasn't just one level on the ground. You had to go up and down stairs and things like that. Oh God, that game was the best. Not technically the best,
I
but it was.
In my teen years, that was the game that I played most. Yeah, I was really into 40K, and then like two of my pals, well, actually three of them, got into Necromunda, and I got into it with them, and I was playing House Goliath. That's why it's like the most minutes from House Goliath. Yeah. And they was playing. One of them was playing Orlocks, the other one was playing Redemptionists, and the third one was playing the Spirers. Yeah.
Love
And
the
believe
Spire.
me, I spent hours playing, with my Goliaths, against them. Yeah, I got beaten more often than not. Yeah, because Spirers with all of the crazy technology could do magic. Yeah, the redemption is always going with the flames, and me, with the normal blinkers. Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
of course we have House of Orlocks, which was the only other legal gang that decided to, because you can have because we play campaign. And
Yeah.
Orlogs decided to do arbitration versus my gang, and they lost, and they got outlawed. So they couldn't collect so much income from their territories. anymore.
That was rough. If that happened to you, you might as well. You're literally better off starting a new army. A lot of times,
Yeah.
the lack of income just kills you in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
The terrain, like that's what I love. Like I don't do much terrain on my channel, yeah, but I'm a huge terrain nerd. I love building terrain.
Terrain is one of my favorites too. It's
Yeah.
really satisfying when you can put together like a 1 foot by 1 foot piece of terrain that you can drop down on a battlefield over and over again, and it doesn't feel like, oh, we're fighting over the same, oil rig or whatever. If you can make a piece like that, that's functional, has catwalks or ladders or balconies or whatever, so you get up off the ground. Oh my god, it adds so much to what you can do on the battlefield with your heavy weapons or your snipers or things like that. Necromunda was just so much fun. A buddy of mine and I, we went to Vegas. He wanted to gamble, and I had just moved back from Virginia, and he's like, "Hey, let's go to Vegas." I'm like, "And do what?" He's like, "Well, grab Necromunda. We'll play when we're not gambling." He's like, "I don't gamble." It's like, "Yeah, I don't got a lot of money either, but I want to go to Vegas." Okay, we went to Vegas. We played over the course of a weekend. I kid you not, we played like 20 games, right?
With
And I
Necromunda, that's very possible.
and I won like almost every one of them to the point that like, yeah, I'm done. Like, dude, you just got to plan. You got to, strategize a little. Think of what you're going to do before you put your people on the board. Look at the board and he never got it. I tore up like four of his gangs to shreds. You know, it was fun, but after a while, I'm like, yeah, dude, your dice rolls suck, and you're not making some obvious moves that you know you'd expect. I mean, that's what the altitude's there for. That's why you've got these multiple levels. Staying on the ground,
Get you killed.
get you killed. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking about starting a uh, kind of a battle report thing, but what I want to do is basically create two small teams from different factions, face them against each other, and then afterwards roll for. It doesn't have to be Necromunda, but it's going to be Necromunda. I want to do this Necromunda-esque style. So after the battle, I roll for the injuries and everything, and then I represent that on the models, actual models. So basically combat, conversion, next combat. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I want to show all of that. So I don't know. I'm thinking about that for a while now. And building up army as well, because I can start from, like, let's just say Space Marines, yeah, just unit of 10, and let's just
Sure.
say Harlequins unit of 10, yeah,
You
and
know,
just combat them against each other, and then do the
how
Necromunda
many
route.
cameras? How many cameras you got?
I have 3 used phones, and I have 3 normal cameras.
You could literally, you know, uh, play against somebody live with that many cameras and just move their pieces for them and have them get a dice tray and roll on their own camera. I'd play you just about any game, provided the time is right. An hour game here or there, dude. I guarantee you start doing like what would you call it? Welcome uh, opponents to come play you this game or that game, dude. You'd have people lined up around the freaking globe to play.
Yeah, and
No, the thing with us is the time zone. For me, it's 3 o'clock at night right now.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you in your more or less your time zones, I guarantee you'd find people who'd be like, yeah, sign me up.
Yeah,
Put a couple of cameras around the table and show them where their stuff is, where your stuff is, so that they could get not quite the Matrix 360-degree panoramic freaking camera thing, but you could set it up. Like I'd
I
watch
would
that.
have to think about that.
You can do it.
I used to watch. Was it Gorilla Miniatures? Is that what it's called, or Gorilla?
Yeah, Guerrilla Games or whatever.
With Ash?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
dude. That dude is the best live plays I've ever seen for any war game. Uh, he sold me on Aeronauticus. He sold me on Epic Warpath. I watched him play Warzone, and this was like many, many decades after Warzone like faded into obscurity, and he was still playing it. And I'm like, oh my god, I missed that game. That game was easily top 3 war games of all time for me.
Somewhere in one of my boxes, I have probably about 5 minutes from Warzone. Yeah, and that was when I was collecting the what they call it, Imperial. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Not Bauhaus.
oh, no. I wanted to play Imperial because Bauhaus is basically Germans, and I didn't want to be a soldier. Yeah.
Bauhaus was one of my top 3 factions. Bauhaus, Brotherhood, and uh, Dark Legion.
Legion of Darkness.
Dude, I have
Yeah.
got like almost everything you could ever want for Warzone, and I haven't played it since I was in my 20s. I've carried it from California to Virginia and back. I still have it all. I've got a box, I kid you not, it's like a sea trunk. It's like this big,
Mhm.
like more than 2 feet by a foot and a half by over a foot deep of unopened blisters of a lot of stuff. Not everybody. I have like no Imperials. I never played them, never liked them. But I've got Cybertronic, Mishima, everybody else. I've got the original old resin, giant freaking Mercurian Maculator, the Praetorian Behemoth, the Grav, the Swamp Skimmers for Bauhaus.
Well, you got me back into that game. I'm gonna have to look for the minis for the prints. Oh, I hate you so much.
Sorry, brother, but they're dirt cheap. A lot of times you can get them for, either like $5 a blister to lots of 4 or 5 blisters or whatever. It runs the gamut, and you've got a 3D printer, so I guarantee you there's a healthy supply of 3D printable that you wouldn't have to buy anything. You just the resin, pop them out, and dude.
Oh, which reminds me, if Brian's still around, Brian, I've got a bunch of Monster Apocalypse STLs that from my failed Kickstarter, but Privateer Press said, hey, they'll give them to you. This is what you'll get because that's all we can do since Mythic screwed everyone over. So at some point, I might be asking you to print some stuff off.
I just got the Warzone, the newest edition Kickstarter rulebook. It's this is this tiny thing. I'm so disappointed. I haven't even bothered to read it. It's like a TV guide. I kid you not. It's like that giant 500-page massive freaking phone book of the Excelsior version rules compiled into this. I mean, if I'm not careful, I'm going to lose this book. It's so tiny.
Inside the other
Did you-
book.
Did you actually watch the Mutant Chronicles? Did you
I
watch
could
the
use it
Mutant
as a
Chronicles
bookmark.
movie?
Yeah,
You know?
that's what I was getting at. Yeah.
You guys-
We've all seen Mutant Chronicles, the movie.
Yeah.
Loved it. I loved it. I know. Even Jackie
I
liked.
love how bad it was. I love how
I was
bad it
waiting,
was.
dude. I was waiting on pins and needles for literally decades. They said we're working on the movie. We're working on the movie. The company went belly up. All the other things, and they still put out the movie somehow. And it wasn't, it wasn't Warzone the way we, would like a little bit more, pandering to the factions and stuff like that. But as a standalone movie, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. It was.
I love the charcoal. I love the coal-powered spaceships.
Mhm.
It was freaking awesome.
Just a little absurd, but
Everything about it was absurd, but it had 2 of the greatest lines I've ever heard in a movie, and one of them was by Ron Perlman, who I despise, which was what was it? Abandon all hope, motherfuckers. Something like that. Abandon all hope, ye who enter, but abandon all hope, motherfuckers. And and he was a Brotherhood guy, right? And then the other one was when Mitch Hunter, someone says, do that again or something like that, and I'll kill you. And he's like, why, wait. He doesn't fucking care. Life sucks in that universe. If you thought, 40K's universe was grim, dark, and ugly, and uh, Warzone freaking just said, oh, hold my beer.
All right, I'm going to head off, guys. So you take care.
No worries. I was going to shut her down in a minute. Who just joined us? Hey, it's Raven.
Hey,
Hey, what's up, Raven? I don't suppose you've ever seen Mutant Chronicles, the movie?
the what?
The movie, Mutant Chronicles?
Mutant Chronicles? No.
Never heard of it?
No.
Well, you wouldn't like it because it's kind of a horror movie, to be honest. It's pretty gruesome. It's pretty grim.
If you actually play the Doom Trooper, the card game, yeah.
Oh,
I
dude,
like when they released. I love when they released
Chronicles.
when they released the expansion Paradise Lost.
I have them. I had them all. Sold too many of them because they were flying out the doors, and people were paying insane prices. But the movie does have John Malkovich in it, so there's that.
Yeah.
And was Thomas Jane was in it?
Yes, he was the lead character.
Yeah, Mitch Hunter. And then a bunch of people I've never seen, I had never seen, and will probably never see again. But it was fun. It was worth it.
Yeah, it's not on Tubi.
Oh, I bought the disc as soon as I could. Why are you red?
Person's brake lights in front of me.
Oh, you're in your car.
She's in the red light district.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you were casting some sort of spell or something, and
Yeah, what are you doing?
Raven escaped from her cats.
It's temporary. They have LoJack on her.
You don't understand. It's not like that. Basically, Raven have so many cats. There is this law that when you have a pet, you have to have it chipped. Raven got chipped by the cats.
Well, they don't even need a chip, any cat sees her and they go, oh, that's Raven.
Yeah. It says it's on.
She's okay. Cat apocalypse comes, they're gonna let her live. We're all gonna get sacrificed to their god or gods, but they're gonna let Raven live. She's gonna chronicle it because she's the only one with a thumb.
So if we see any god, named Meowsy or something like that, we're gonna know it is a Raven's god.
What? What?
If we see any god named Meowsy or something like that, because you're gonna name your god Cat McCatterson, or Snuffles or something like that.
A really good name for a god, and a goddess, and a priest. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta name all your stuff.
You guys better watch out. She's gonna stomp you. You're not even gonna know it's her. And then when the big reveal comes, next year or whatever, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I was playing the blank," and everybody's jaw's just gonna drop. What? No,
I'm playing Satan Smashing 99.
Yeah, you guys watch out. We know she's tricky. You gotta watch out.
Yeah. Put up with you guys.
There's that.
Hey, Raven, can you quickly Google?
Google what?
I'm just fucking with you, Raven. Nothing.
No, you're driving. You're driving. We want you to get on.
I'm actually in line at Burger King, so
technically you're still driving.
I can Google something. I got 2 cars ahead of me, so go ahead.
I was joking, Raven.
Oh damn! See, you hope stuff like that. Tease me, taunt me.
But she was going to make up her God character in the car this afternoon. I'm like, no, I'm not going to be responsible for that
I
freaking
already made a character. I've already done that. And he's like,
Yes.
you need to be able to write. And I'm like, well, I do all kinds of stuff in the car. I drive with my left knee. I steer. And it's a straight shot. It's a straight road. There's no curves or anything. But yeah, I can do curves. That way I can put on my makeup, braid my hair, do whatever I got to do.
So, do you want to know why you wake up with your head in the steering wheel? That's why.
No,
She's
that had
driving
nothing to do with that. That was sitting still. That was that crazy.
You
One
say
day,
so.
one day, there's gonna be a very short note in the newspaper. Yeah, crazy cat lady driving with her left knee killed 23 school children leaving the school bus.
There's going to be an 18-car pileup with Raven's name on it.
No. I'm really good. I'm
Most of the casualty was caused by startled cats.
Yes.
What was that? What was that cartoon where there was like this giant ball of cats? Was
No
it like
idea.
No, but it's a sad thing. I've had kittens born that way, where their mother doesn't chew through the umbilical cord. It's just literally a ball of kittens, and they all get tangled up. And
No, I was trying to be funny. That's not funny. That's
No,
sad
it's-
and depressing. No, it was like this 3-story ball of screaming, fighting cats just rolling down the street in this cartoon. I remember. I want to say it was like Ed, and Eddie, or
It was in stuff like that happened in multiple cartoons. I think that one of them was in Family Guy. Yeah. Then
right there.
I think at and Eddie, I remember the cat dog as well have something similar. And let's not forget the Nation
Cartoon
Z
with
have that,
giant
but with the
ball of
zombies
cats.
instead of.
Yeah, the funny thing is that giant, 3-story tall ball of cats. There's like a cab inside with Raven steering it down the road
Yep. I
with
can
her
see
one
that.
elbow out the window. I want to see that meme by morning.
No.
Yeah,
I do have an elbow out the window all the time.
I figured.
Yeah. You'd have to. What else are you going to do with your hands instead of using them to steer the car?
Just 10 and 2, Raven. 10 and 2.
10
I
and
don't
2.
drive it even. I know that.
We'd be happy with 10 or 2.
Yeah.
I used to, used to practice doing that as a way to take my mind off of what was going on at work. I would go out at lunch, and there was this really windy road next to the factory, and I worked in customer service, and everybody would be screaming at me all day long, cussing at you, and I would be so stressed out. And I couldn't drink on my lunch back then, and so
Those horrible,
I would
horrible
take my
people.
car.
Did you complain to HR about that?
650 love. So I would take my car out and drive the windy road with my knees. It would take all my focus, so I wouldn't be thinking about. Hey, I love you. Have a blessed night, guys. You too. There. So I wouldn't be thinking about everybody that had pissed me off and cussed me out,
You got everything.
things like that. And so I did that. Geez, years. It's been 20 or more years since I've been doing that.
Oh.
It was a form of therapy, okay? It was a form of therapy. Put it that way. It was.
Dungeons and Dragons is the best therapy.
Yeah.
I'm
Do it now. Because my window doesn't work. I have to manually jerk it around so it'll go up. It's an automatic window. Driving with
Yeah.
it right now, as a matter of fact. There we go. Okay. Anyway.
Check your bag, make sure you got everything.
No, but I'm sure it is. I only just got a sandwich. I mean, a Whopper.
A Whopper?
Yeah, I was craving a hamburger.
You got liquid smoke on something claiming to be beef?
Yeah, it's damn delicious. Don't ruin it for me.
I'm a fan of the Whopper too.
I don't want to know. Dude, what you
Guys,
do?
I'm sorry. I'm too tired.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skedaddle.
No worries,
You know.
Armstrong. We'll see you
Good to
I'm
see you,
fading
Armstrong.
too.
Sunday.
Hurry on,
Tomorrow,
Armstrong.
tomorrow evening, hopefully.
Tomorrow evening.
Take care, everyone. Yeah, Friday.
See you tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
For me, it's gonna be evening.
You know what I mean.
Take care, lads.
Take care.
Did we have a writing assignment for tomorrow?
It was the X-Files thing. I need to work on that too. I'm gonna spend most of the morning working on it.
I need to find my note card for that.
You
Well,
need to spend most of your morning working on it too.
What are we supposed to have done for tomorrow?
Yeah, just start writing.
Here it is.
Get some stuff done. You got another 6 weeks to finish your story.
On the X file, it's supposed to be like supposed to be an X file story.
Yeah.
Bourbon.
Well, you could do whatever the fuck you want.
Oh.
He's doing more of like a Supernatural, the TV show.
I'm doing a private detective, or you could say I'm doing the Dresden Files, right?
No, the Dresden Files was perfect, except for when they killed Murphy. Those fucking bastards got done dirty. Oh, sorry, I ruined it for you, Raven. But you should try again.
Okay.
That doesn't happen until book like 19 or whatever. So
Oh, okay, that makes it better.
you'll forget by then.
It's so nice to drive and not panic every time I see a cop.
Why? You finally got your plates?
Yes, yesterday.
Oh,
Finally.
Raven did something responsible, like.
How long are they good for?
Huh?
How long are they good for? Okay.
What was that Demi Moore movie? The religious thriller, Seventh Gate or Seventh Key or whatever.
I don't know.
Seventh Sign, Seventh Seal.
There was was Johnny Depp.
No, that was the Ninth Gate.
Yeah, that's the Ninth Gate.
Yeah, Ninth Gate.
Yeah, that's
She
the one with the
definitely wasn't
book.
in it.
Yeah, this was before that too. This is like a mid-90s.
Yeah, I think it's the Seventh Seal.
Seventh Seal.
Or Seventh
yeah.
Sign.
Yeah, whatever.
That's one with Brad Pitt.
I don't remember who was on it. I know Demi Moore was in it. I think Demi Moore was in it. Maybe. Doesn't matter. What matters is
Right away.
what matters, Raven, is you doing something responsible and adult like is one of those fucking signs.
What, the apocalypse is coming?
Yeah. And one of the seals has been broken because Raven got the plates.
Yeah. Well, any sort of responsible thing, period. This just happens to be the one she picked.
I don't know why you think I'm so irresponsible. I'm a very responsible person.
How many times have you come on my show half smashed at 2 p.m?
Oh, I'm not half smashed when I first get on the show. Depending
She's
on
completely smashed.
Yeah. You're like, I don't remember looking up buttholes a month ago. Let me look up buttholes again.
I am sober when I get on the show, depending on the content of the show.
And by the end, she's
how much
to the
I do. You know?
Yeah. Like, I understand having a beer at lunch or something, but half a bottle of bourbon by 2?
I don't drink a half a bottle. There. 2 tall isn't a half a bottle. No. And if I don't have to go anywhere, who cares? That's
yeah, but then you get in your car and you drive and go pick up cat food.
No.
Do you know how many times?
I don't drink and drive.
Do you know how many times you don't drink and drive? Much.
Much. Not to say that it hasn't happened before, but not drink very much either. You know.
This is my knee. Just in case you think I'm not well endowed.
So
No, we've never thought that.
so why do
No
you
one's
say
ever thought.
why do you say I'm irresponsible? I'm irresponsible. Actually, we got a lot of things here. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
running tight ship around here.
She just sounded like John Lovitz for a minute there, didn't she?
Yeah. What do you mean I'm not responsible? I'm responsible. Of course.
Yeah, that's it. I'm responsible. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You guys are mean, and you're not accurate.
Oh, you don't want to know me. None of us have flipped out and threatened to punch you at the table and then leave.
I've never done that. Now
well,
somebody else has,
Marks.
but I have. That wasn't me.
Oh, Shadow, put that on a shirt.
What? It wasn't
I'm
me.
gonna chick. No. That I can't believe you tricked me into playing this game. I'll punch you in the face. Murder.
yeah, that's intolerable.
Yeah.
It's a freaking game. You know, we're not playing diplomacy. If we were playing diplomacy, that'd be a different thing. Then I would expect, if not count on, at least one fist fight. But we're playing a simple role playing game that's meant to be enjoyable. And
Well, we're going to be playing diplomacy next week, but we're going to do it anonymously and by post or Discord.
yeah. Well, that's different. And
God Force is definitely a diplomacy style game. You know that, right?
I'm seeing that, and you know, who knows how that's going to turn out.
Raven,
Yes.
I expect a card under the table. Let me know who you are so I can form an alliance with you. Bye, Raven. That's her saying, "Fuck no, sucker."
Yeah. Which is a shame because I'm gonna call it quits, so I can get back to work. You need to get back to work. I think you said you were getting tired.
Yeah, I'm going to sleep, motherfucker.
But we'll hang out tomorrow morning, and if you think of
Well,
anything
tomorrow
cool,
afternoon for me.
well, for me it's noon,
Lunchtime.
also 12 o'clock my time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got some good stuff here. Uh, Keep me working, and I gotta do a bunch of other shit. It's gonna be a lot more work than I initially thought.
Yeah, that's why I was very like kiboshing the resource management.
Yeah, same here.
Because
Okay, Raven, I'll bring you in.
say
Uh,
goodbye.
What
yeah,
happened?
I have no idea what
You
happened.
walk.
I
You
could
walk
hear
through the.
you guys just fine, and all of a sudden my picture just went.
Yeah. You cut
It's
out.
probably because you got out of the car and went upstairs and accidentally hit a button.
Yeah. Well, you walked through a wall, like walked past a wall, and that probably like disrupted the signal
Mhm.
just enough. Like that
Oh,
can do that sometimes.
okay, yeah, because it didn't disconnect. I could hear you guys the whole time.
Yeah. But
But
it just dropped the
you're just
signal
in
enough.
time once again for us to say goodbye. I'll contact you later and help you work on your stuff, get it all situated as best as possible with the time, and then we'll get you ready by Sunday at the latest. You'll be done, and everybody. I can read the report off on Monday. That's oh god, I gotta come up with some music for that too, man. Shit.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
Raven, do you want me to send you the link tomorrow when we start?
Yeah, please.
Okay. The writing link? Okay. So I'll do that. Remind me, Shadow.
Yeah, I will. It's called Suno. Yeah.
Well, soon. Oh, yeah, it's right there on the thing. Well, we can do that on the show if you want. After we talk writing, we'll just make the song up.
Okay. Because I want to have something playing for the intro instead of my usual shadow song when I do these reports. Something orchestral and worthy of introduction to the gods fighting.
Yeah.
For
Well, we got like three or four shots to make a song, so. And then we'll have to create another account and try again. So I ain't paying for that.
All right,
shit.
that'll give us something to do and give me a little bit more time to work on the report, maybe if I need it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, tomorrow, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Have a great evening. Have a great weekend. And if I don't get to say this to you guys, well, I will Saturday, but I'm going to say it now anyways. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Eat some bacon.
I will eat so much bacon. I will have to go to confession.
I expect to see you eating bacon on Sunday.
I can do that. I can arrange that.
Okay.
Good night, everybody. Happy trails.